Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dev Diary. Now, as a reminder, this month we're focusing on simple concepts, mostly revolving around single mechanics. And I honestly cannot believe I haven't done today's game type before. So remember that if you enjoyed today's video, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss future videos. Now, we are of course talking about nanogram games, which is legitimately one of my favorite ways to pass the time, and yet I don't think I've ever actually tried remaking it for the channel. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this game type, nanograms are logic-based puzzles that give you a grid and a list of numbers for each row and column. The goal is to fill that grid in a way that satisfies each list of numbers. If you've ever played a Picross title, today's game should look very familiar. So we're using our dungeon generator to turn simple pixel art into usable data for our nanogram game. Now, if you'd like a more in-depth look into how it works, a link to another Dev Diary video covering the system can be found in the description. Now, using this list of data, we load a random layout into the solution grid. Or alternatively, if the game is set to randomize, we simply generate a grid of random ones and zeros. Either way, this data is then used to generate our list of hint numbers to display outside of our grid. And weirdly, I was having a lot of trouble visualizing this logic in a single function. So the effort was broken into two functions for both rows and columns respectively. These numbers are simply generated by counting up until they hit a blank space, to which a new count is started until we reach the end of the line. And once our solution and hints are sorted, the game is wiped clean and ready for play. When the player's cursor is within the grid, they can left click to activate a space, right click to deactivate a space, and middle click to mark a space. A win check function is also executed for both left and right clicks, and if the player's grid matches the solution grid, the player wins, ending the round. Now, similarly to our previous project with the line drawings, we keep track of the player's cursor position whenever a click happens. This allows the player to draw lines, but also prevents the game from constantly toggling a cell on and off. Now, middle clicking works a bit differently in that it will only affect inactive tiles. Similarly, tiles that are marked are also not able to be activated with left click. Now, once the round is over, the player can reset everything and load another puzzle. And for the sake of testing, Shift will also switch between loading curated and random designs. And yes, I'm pretty sure that just due to sheer RNG, not all random designs are solvable using pure logic. Which, if I weren't trying to keep things simple this month, I would definitely dig into deeper. And honestly, other than the marker system working a little differently than usual, I would say that this is a pretty faithful creation of your typical nanogram game. Now, quick reminder before we get into my final thoughts here, if you enjoy my content, you can help me keep making it by supporting me on Patreon. Doing so can get you access to exclusive content and downloads, and even early access to the weekly Dev Diary videos before they're released on YouTube. So obviously our game is missing some quality of life features like number highlighting and the like, but again, we're trying to keep things simple this month for the sake of my sanity, so good enough will have to do. And honestly, not quite sure some of the things are even possible to do with our current system anyway. But I guess that's a great way to transition into our question of the week. How would you approach keeping track of all the data needed to run a nanogram game, you know? I think I'm overthinking at least one or two things, so surely this could be done better. And in general, what do you think of nanogram games? And if they are your thing, which one is your favorite? Be sure to leave any and all thoughts in the comments. And with that said, brings us to the end of today's Dev Diary, so thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.